What's going on, guys? Back with the 11th episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. I'm here with the man, BeBall Jones. What's going on, bro?
Episode 12.
This episode 12? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because the individual came out. Ah, dang, it's all good. Y'all know what episode it is if you've been listening. But welcome to episode 12, man. So, how you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, man. Good over here. What about you?
Everything good. I'm finally out of school for the summer, but I'm going back in 2 weeks to take summer classes. So it ain't that long of a summer break, but I'm good for right now.
I'm sorry, man.
It's all good. It's close to graduation. It won't be long.
I guess.
But today we're going over the cost of loyalty. So we just want to kind of discuss some things about guys like Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal who have been with their same teams that drafted them their entire years, but haven't really found that ultimate success of getting to the finals or winning a championship or anything like that. And if they are taking a better route than guys such as, say, Kevin Durant and LeBron James, who really moved around from team to team and found ways to succeed and found ways to get back to the finals consistently. So we just kind of want to break that down of which path is really the right path or the better path for the athlete. Is it better to show that loyalty to the team that drafted you as long as they do right by you, of course, and choose not to trade you or do anything like that? Or is it better to take your destiny into your own hands and find the team that's right for you that you have the best chance of winning a championship with? So I want to turn over to you first, man. So what do you think? Do you take the loyalty standpoint or the do what's best for me?
I think that's tough to really say, man, just because over time we've seen how players like Charles Barkley have been getting killed by not having a ring.
I
Every
think that's
time,
like the number one thing, man.
yeah,
Like just seeing Chuck get killed by Shaq and Kenny, I think that's the number one thing. But go ahead.
He always pull out Google me, Chuck. I got one of these. You can't talk about me right now, man. I got one of these. And it's just like you just
Man.
you can't that's the trump card and you can't pull that, man. Like
Like, and you can't help but feel bad for Chuck. You'd be like, I'd be embarrassed for Chuck. I'd be like,
yeah.
dang, he can't say nothing about that.
Like he can pull all the numbers out he wants to. He can pull he can pull out the MVP. But Kenny will always have that over him is that he has a ring, two rings, and Chuck doesn't have it. I won MVP. I was, dream team, all this stuff. But Kenny has the rings. That's the thing he can always have over him is he has the rings. So I
And
think
Kenny
it's
ain't half the player Chuck was.
exactly, man. It's just like he can always hold it over his head no matter what, man. But and I think that's the thing that a lot of players are taking into consideration, which is why you saw the Kevin Durant hopping team. He was like, I can't get this done, so I got to leave. And I think Giannis is getting into that pocket now where he's like, do I stay or do I go? And so it's like, I kind of feel both sides of it. I hate being a fence rider, but I have to because it's like we just said, you see somebody like Chuck getting killed for not having rings, but individually he was a great player. Like what more can you ask from Chuck for what he did? Players like Reggie
Exactly.
Miller who did their thing, just couldn't get a ring. John Stockton, Karl Malone did their thing, just couldn't get a ring. And Chuck did end up popping teams towards the end of his career, and he don't get killed for that. But low key, he was doing what things that other players are doing now. But we don't talk about that.
Right.
But anyway, I think it's a real subjective thing to talk about, and I think it's a case by case thing to look at. So I'm gonna be a fence rider for right now, which I hate, but that's just kind of how I stand on it.
Oh man, I feel that though. I kind of understand why you say that. And but I can take my standpoint. You know me, man. I don't mind being that guy on the opposite side. Like this is just how I feel. But I think you gotta do what's best for you. In any case, I don't care. You gotta do what's best for you. Now, let me follow that up with this. I don't think you should try to cheat the system. And I feel like Kevin Durant joining the Warriors after that 73-9 season, I feel like that's cheating the system in a way. Like, oh, they already got these two guys. They got a MVP, a defensive player of the year, two of the best shooters ever. They throw me in there, we're gonna be unstoppable. And they got him for nothing because he just joined, which I don't blame the Warriors for that, but I blame Kevin Durant more than anybody else. Like, why would you even want to play with them after they just beat you the way they did? That's just from a competitive standpoint, you feel me? But at the same time, I would still say I don't care if Kevin Durant was to leave OKC. Because I remember when everybody was talking about KD is a free agent, we don't know where he's gonna go. Originally people was talking about him going to the Wizards and he was gonna be with John Wall and Brad Beal and them. And I was like, cool, you feel me? The Wizards barely making the playoffs. They be like the 6th, 7th seed every year. The Wizards were the for those who don't remember, the Wizards were what like the Orlando Magic are now. Like barely making the playoffs, just happy to be there. You feel me? No finals aspirations and that like that. Just kind of hanging in there, trying to make the playoffs every year. In my head, I was like, oh, John Wall, Brad Beal, KD, they probably going to the finals with that. I was happy with that. I was like, I hope he does do it. But then he went to the Warriors, and it was like, bro, what? They just went to the finals, and they were 73-9. And so, I just take that to another level. Like that's your competitive spirit. Like you got to be more of a competitor in my mind than that. That's like me leaving my school now just to go join the team that put us out the playoffs and went to the finals. I mean, went to the conference championship.
Yeah.
And I could do that. I could try to transfer there and see if they'll take me. But why would I said you got to be more of a competitor in my opinion. But I don't think you should. Not saying you shouldn't show no loyalty to the team that drafted you, because I feel like if they do right by you, then that's all well and good. But don't sit there. What Dame is doing now, no, don't do that. I hate that for Dame, and I love Dame to death. He's one of my favorite players, one of my favorite guys to watch. But what he's doing, I feel like that's not it, man. Because we're not gonna put respect on that after the fact. Only us people who watch Dame and love Dame, like I know you're a big Dame fan. People like us, we're gonna be the only ones after the fact when his career is over and done, and he retires, and like let's say he played with Portland the rest of his career, and get maybe 18 seasons and retire, no championships, maybe don't even go to the finals. We'll never nobody will ever put that respect on his name and be like, oh, okay, he was still he gonna be in the Charles Barkley category. Like, he was a good player, but no rings. So he won't be in none of those conversations. And we know that right now he compete. Like we argue that he might be the best point guard in the league. A lot of people put Steph first, but then a lot of times they ain't be second or third behind like him or like Kyrie Irving maybe, or maybe Luka. He top 3 though. I say Dame definitely top 3 in the league right now at that position. But when it's over and all those players are done, we gonna remember Steph and we gonna remember Kyrie because they rings. Like, and I don't think they ain't gonna get that respect. So I feel like it's time for him to go. I wish he wouldn't have signed that big contract like he did. I wish he'd have just jumped ship and went somewhere like I don't even care where, just somewhere where he knew he had another star, like a bona fide star, not a CJ McCollum star. No disrespect to CJ McCollum, but a superstar rather than a everyday all-star. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between that superstar status and that all-star. Dame is a superstar. CJ is an all-star. And I think Dame need another superstar. There's no championships with just one superstars anymore. That them times is over with. And I get Dame doing everything he can to make it happen every year, but we're not gonna remember that. We're gonna remember what you end up doing in the totality of your career. And so you gotta do what's best for you, in my opinion. If that means leaving, even though they drafted you, even if they do right by you, just tell them straight up. Just, as long as you do right by them, also like, hey, I'm gonna play the rest of the deal out. This is my last year of my contract. I'm gonna go. LeBron did that. KD did that. Like, as long as you don't force no ugly trade out, like I feel like Anthony Davis did it the wrong way, forcing that trade to the Lakers and then not playing and stuff. That get ugly. But just be like, hey, this is my last year of my deal. I thought I might well go and tell you straight up, like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take the best deal for me at the end of the season. So That's my take on it, man. You got to do what's best for you at the end of the day.
So I definitely agree with players got to do what's best for them. But just for a quick history lesson, people know I'm a nerd when it comes to basketball stuff. So you look at how running back to the 80s, let's just go as far back as the 80s. You look at Magic when he signed a 25-year deal for $1 million. He became the first quote unquote $1 million, I want to say athlete or basketball player. I can't remember which one it was. One way or another, he was the first to have that. Now, 25-year deal is unheard of in basketball. Baseball, you get that more frequently. Basketball, the max you probably see is 7 or 8 right now, maybe 10 years, and that's pushing it. So most you get around this day and time be like a 6-7 year deal, which is pretty high for now. And back in the day, you were seeing dynasties because teams stuck together. Once a player got drafted there, the player stayed there for probably 2 contracts, which is about 7 or 8 years, depending on what the contract deal is, and they're there for a while. You saw a lot more players sticking with one team because they had the freedom to do more of that. And so, like, if you're really honest and you really do research, you see that players back in the day in the 90s were trying to team up. You heard that Jordan almost forced a trade to go to some other place. He almost signed to go to some other place. Like, I saw something last week, I think, where Jordan almost teamed up with he's trying to get somebody to come play with him. I think it was Barkley. I forgot who it was. But he was talking to have somebody come play with him. And you keep hearing little whispers of all these little rumors that Reggie Miller almost went and played with the Knicks. And that's a blood rivalry right there, man. The Pacers and Knicks in the 90s, they was fighting. So for that to be a thought, it's something wrong. You know what I mean? So Patrick Ewing had thoughts of going somewhere else in his prime. So it's like the players that played in the 90s weren't loyal because of choice. If they had the freedom to and it made more sense back in the day, most of them probably would have left too. So it's kind of hypocritical for those guys to be hard on the players in today's game when they jump in teams. So like you said with KD, like I said, comparing me to disagrees with that, but I'm not mad at it anymore. I understand because, like we said, players are getting killed nowadays for not having a ring. So it's like, shoot, by any means, I got to give me a ring now. So if that means teaming up with this team to do it, I got to. You know what I mean? So I'm not too mad because I understand that half of it, but the competitor in me, the fighter in me says I can't do that. So I'm not as because I'll say on this side of the loyalty to a team, because like I say, it's a case by case thing. And so like with Dame, from everything I've seen, you got to look at his history too. Like you look at how his loyalty is. He isn't just like that right now. He's been like that for years. Because I remember reading a story on him saying how when he grew up playing AAU ball, the first team or one of the first teams he was with, they weren't that good. But the people who ran the team was good to him. They was loyal to him. Got his friends together and they, rock with him. When the higher, sponsored teams and stuff, they didn't really want him at the time because he wasn't quote unquote sponsorship or that level of player. But then by the time he rose in ranks and, went up the ranks in his rankings as far as players goes and stuff, they wanted to get after him, but he said no because I'm rocking with my team right now. Y'all didn't want me in the beginning stages, so I'm rocking with who rock with me. And that's how Dame's been from the beginning. So knowing a player like that, it's kind of tough for you to be like, dang, I wish you switch up. I can't switch up because that's who I've been since I was a teenager, since I was born. So it's like it's case by case thing. So he's loyal to whoever's loyal to him. So that for that, I can't fight him for that. But then
go ahead.
Also, you look at Dame's situation, that's a whole other thing. I don't know the owner situation. I don't know how the GMs treat them or nothing. They've had different coaches every other year. And I think the ownership plays a huge role because you look at somebody like a Mark Cuban. He's from the old generation of owners who were loyal to their players. Back in the day, players used to get notified like, yo, meet me in my office at 2:00. We got to talk. I'm thinking about cutting you, man. So I just want to, since your service been to the team's been so great, I want to give you the options, man. We're thinking about either cutting you, trading you, and these are the teams we're looking at trading you to, or we're gonna let you retire. I remember Michael Cooper said that happened. Like Mr. Dr. Bus pulled him in, like, yo, we're talking about cutting you, trading you to the Celtics, the Knicks, Clippers, and like some other team. Or you can get waived. And we don't want to do that to you, so I'm gonna put it in your hands. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna give you a day or whatever, a week or two, think it over, come back. He's like, he ended up resigning from the team, hooped overseas, and he was like, all right, that's cool. Since you want to do that route, you retired. Whenever you're ready, man, come back and give me a call. We got a spot for you in our staff. That's how ownership was back in the day. He was right with the players. He was loyal to the players. Like, you did your thing for me on the court, I'm gonna do my thing for you as far as your paycheck and as far as making sure you have a place to hoop at, especially for us. Or at least if you're not gonna play here, I'm gonna do you right and let you play in a better situation. From what I hear, owners these days aren't like that. Most of them are. So Mark Cuban's cut from that old school bread. Like, you got Popovich who's like that. I think the Warriors crew, shaky from what I heard from Andre Iguodala. But I know Mark Cuban and the Spurs are cut from that cloth, man. So you got owners these days.
Mark Cuban and the Mavericks.
I'm saying even Spurs too.
Oh, you saw two different teams. Oh, my bad,
Yeah,
my bad.
Pop, because Pop, he old school.
Yeah, Pop will tell you straight up, like, hey, we getting rid of you.
Exactly.
You ever Steven Jackson talk about it?
Yeah. He's like, yo, you can't be mad because I'm telling you face to face what's happening. You know what I mean? So
right. They can't say you ain't expected.
So, because nowadays players saying they get a text message from their friends before they even get notified by the team, or they see it on ESPN.
Dudes be finding out on Twitter.
Oh, I see it on Twitter from Woj or Shams and be like, yo, I got traded. Like, nah, I mean, it's Woj, so it's like, dang, I got traded.
It's real.
It's real. So that's a tough way to find out you're getting traded, man. So I think that plays a huge role in things now too. So I think the ownership plays a huge role in that, to where it's easier for me to be loyal to the team because they've been loyal to me too. And since that's not happening as much anymore, it's easier for the players to take the control back and say, you're not supporting me and being loyal to me, helping me out. I'm going to return this favor by being loyal to myself and doing what's best for me. So I think that plays a huge role in it too, to where you see teams not being loyal to the players. The players have the power now. So now the underprivileged are going to take that return back. They've been slaves for so long. Now the slaves got some power. And it's like, oh, I'm going to not even abuse the power, but it's use with the power that I have. So now the team's looking crazy. It's like, oh, why did this player just leave and da 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 da. So Anthony Davis sitting out isn't as disrespectful to me anymore because, like I just said, ownership probably did him wrong in some type of way. And it's like, dang, I wanted Boogie, but y'all didn't give me Boogie. I wanted this player to stay, y'all just traded him. So all right, cool. I'm gonna do what's best for me. I'm gonna sit out because I don't want to get hurt. So you only have so many options with a player like that. Either trade me while I want to get traded, or the team's not going to do the trade with you because I have either a no trade clause, or I'm just not going to play for them, I'm not going to resign. I have to give up so much to get a player like that. I got to give up half my roster to get Anthony Davis, which isn't a good return because I lost half my roster and I still don't have Anthony Davis the year after this. And so if I had to push to a side, I probably would say it's more respectable for the players to do what's best for them. But I think the next thing I kind of want to think about is like the money. That plays a huge role in this too, man. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying, how do you feel about that?
All right, so I have this is a theory that I came up with, and I tell this to guys all the time. There's 3 reasons for a guy to go to anywhere when it comes to being a professional athlete, even in college too sometimes. But it's 3 reasons why a guy would choose to go to any place when they got the option, I should say. Like, if I'm a free agent, there's 3 reasons why I would choose to go to any place. And one reason that all 3 reasons play a factor in the decision, but there's always one that means more than the other 2. So that'll be like the leading decision maker. So the 3 reasons are money. Where can I get paid? Where can I get the most bang for my buck? No. Who offering the most out the deal? 2 would be comfortability. Where am I gonna be comfortable at? Maybe I'm from New York City. I want to play for the Knicks or the Nets, most likely. Or maybe I'm from the South. I ain't trying to go nowhere and play in the snow. That's kind of how I feel. Like if I was to be in the NBA, I ain't trying to be nowhere playing in snow. I'm trying to be in the South. Let me play for Miami or Atlanta or shoot Memphis. Let me play in one of the Texas teams. I'm trying to stay close to the South. And then the third one would be winning. So where can I get me a championship? Where do I have the best opportunity to win a ring, or at least make the playoffs, at least go to the finals? Where is that the biggest opportunity for me to win and add to my resume? And so those three reasons, those three factors are always like the main. Those are the things that decide where players go a lot of times. And so one of those reasons are always going to be more relevant to that person than the other. It's just a case by case thing. And all the years I've been playing basketball, I've met guys who want all three of those things differently. I'm the type of guy that wants to be comfortable. If I'm talking about being a pro athlete, at least, I want to be comfortable more than anything. Now, of course, I want to get paid. Of course, I want to win a championship wherever I go, all that. But that ain't always feasible. You know what I'm saying? Like no team in the South right now is a championship contender. You ain't gonna win no championship in Orlando. You ain't gonna win no championship in Memphis. You ain't gonna win no championship in Atlanta. Those are the teams that's in the South right now. Sure, you really ain't gonna win no championship most likely. The Dallas Mavericks have a small chance, but you're not winning no championship in Houston. You know what I'm saying? It's like those teams that's in the South where I would be the most comfortable because I'm from the South. I'm most likely not winning a ring there. But also, like, being comfortable is probably my number one thing. But I've been with guys who want to win. Like, man, if we guys that if they team having a losing season, they thinking about leaving or like talking to the coach like we got to bring somebody in type stuff, or like what we gonna do next year, like what we need to get better at. Guys that want to win more than anything, and then it's guys that want to get paid. Guys that want to just get the most bang for their buck. You know what I'm saying? And so I think when it comes to those reasons, that's why guys leave. So I might not be comfortable here no more. I might have got drafted to this team. I ain't have no say so on who I got drafted to. Like a guy like me, let's say I'm in the NBA draft, I get drafted by Milwaukee. I'm not gonna be comfortable in no Wisconsin, most likely. I ain't gonna be comfortable in the snow. Like, please God, don't let Toronto draft me. Oh my goodness, no, I cannot. Don't like if I'm even if I was like gonna be like a number one pick, if Toronto had the number one pick, I'd be like, yo, like I'm gonna answer all their questions like I don't want to go. Like if I just know I'm getting drafted top 5, top 3, whatever, I'm talking to them like, nah, I ain't really trying to do that.
Yeah.
So that's important to me to be comfortable. And so maybe I get drafted to a team and I play there for like, let's say I take my rookie deal. I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like it here. I'm gonna resign. And then let's say they fire my coach or trade my best friend, something like that. Or maybe I see the owner do some shiesty stuff, like tell a guy they were not gonna get traded and then trade him, or tell a guy he good and then cut him, something like that. Maybe I see them do some shiesty stuff like that. Now I'm not comfortable no more. Like they not really handling business how I like it, or what they're not really conducting the team how I want them to do it. Or maybe I'm the guy that wants to win and I get drafted to a team that's not that good, and maybe I want to take them to that place. I think every player kind of thinks about getting drafted to a team and then turning the program around. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you like top 5, top 10 pick. Everybody think about being LeBron, getting drafted to Cleveland. Cleveland won a championship in their whole existence. And then you come in as the chosen one and turn it around. But sometimes that ain't feasible. Sometimes you'll be there for a while and then you got to do what LeBron did. Like, oh, man, y'all ain't even give me no help. Like, I'm doing everything I can. I done got us to the finals, but I ain't got no help. So I just can't do this no more. I got to win. I'm too good to be here losing every year. And you're not helping me. And so you got to go. And so that's just, I understand that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll never judge nobody for those reasons like that. KD left OKC because he wanted to win. And there's guys like J.R. Smith not J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony, who stayed with New York because of the bag. You know what I'm saying? And he's from New York, so he's probably comfortable there. But he knew we could have left and probably joined up with Bron and them or something crazy like that. And they all buddies, but he took the bag over that. So it just goes, it's a case by case thing. Like, what's important to you? Maybe my kids live in this area already. I got kids in my hometown that I got drafted in, and I ain't really trying to make them up and move. All right, stay there. Or maybe a team across the country that offered me 2 more years and $20 million more than the team that drafted me. All right, I'm gonna go. It's just one of them things. It's a case by case thing, and so I never judge nobody for taking those reasons into consideration.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Carmelo because when was it 2010 when they finally got together? Yeah, 2010.
Talking about Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember when 08 Olympic team they were together. Yeah, it was 08. It was LeBron, D Wade, Kobe, Melo, Bosh, Mark Stoudemire, all those guys won that Redeem team in 2008, the Olympic team. And it was at that time where it was LeBron and Melo for sure talking about teaming up. I mean, not LeBron. LeBron and Wade were talking about teaming up. And of course, Melo was in it because that's the Banana Boat crew. They are brothers and stuff. And it just made contractual sense for all of them to come together because D Wade and LeBron were going to be free agents around that time. Melo was a year ahead of them. So he was a 2009 free agent, but they were 2010 free agents or whatever the number was. And so they were like, all right, Melo, you signed a 1-year deal, whatever. And whenever time comes back around, we are going to team up. We got to find the right team. And financially, Cleveland wasn't the best space, I think. Of course, location-wise, it wasn't the best space because it's Cleveland.
I don't think them boys trying to team up in Cleveland, just to be real.
Yeah, no.
Melo in New York, Wade in Miami.
Yeah.
They're going to leave and go to Cleveland.
Exactly.
Nah.
And I think I remember they said Chicago was a place they were looking at because that's one Jordan. You always want to try to reach that mountain to climb. Then D Wade from Chi-Town, so that was a thing for him. And at the time, they had the money, the cap space to entertain that whole crew. Miami had the space for it. They were planning for it. And I think another place they were looking at. But Melo ended up messing that whole deal up. That's how, no offense to Bosh, but Bosh was the second option. Because Melo fumbled that deal because he wanted the bad, like you said. New York offered him a lot more money to stay, and he took that option instead of wanting to win with his boys over there, which you can't fault him for. You know what I mean? Like, he wants the financial comfort to say, I know I have X amount of millions, hundreds of millions, rather than a couple more million. You know what I mean? So, because they ended up taking around 22 mil each to stay together. Him, Wade, and Bosh. LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. So it's like, you got to sacrifice at that point. And so for Melo, his thing was he wants to win, of course. He wanted a good team in New York, but money was that, like you said, the money was the weighing option and comfort with that weighing option. So staying in New York, where he's from, the Baltimore area, and having that money was a bigger thing for him than winning at the time. So I'm not mad at him for that, but I like how you phrase that, your theory is like a lot of players have been drafted by a team and they're comfortable there. It's hard for a player to leave the team. They've been there for 6, 7, 8 years. You even drafted me at 16, not 16, but 17, 18, 19, sometimes 20, 21. And I've been there for the last 5 years of my life. So I went from a boy to a man, literally. Like, I was a teenager when I came here, or, a young man when I came here. Now I got a whole family, I got kids, I found my wife here. And it's like, it's hard for you to leave that behind. So, like, that's my level of comfort now. I love to go back to my hometown, but either A, we don't have a hometown team, or that team isn't good, so it's just situation by situation. So it's a tough thing to really touch on, but I think it's real subjective, man. Because like you said, if I'm like us, staying in the South, the closest thing we got is Atlanta.
Right.
The Grizzlies are another option. New Orleans, and maybe the Florida teams. That's the closest teams we have for us. And so for us to, we're in that situation, hometown team isn't as strong because I'm not from Atlanta. I don't have any ties to Georgia like that. I got family there, but it's not the same.
It ain't really my people.
Exactly. Now, if you had the Birmingham whatevers, that'll be a whole different thing. It's like, dang, I can be 20 minutes from the house or 30 minutes from the house. Folks can ride. You know, I got 100 tickets I can get out to the folks. You know what I mean? Those are my people. They know me. I know them. Rather than taking this 2-hour drive to Atlanta or a flight to Atlanta. So that's a tough thing, man. So it's just, like you said, case by case thing to where in some cases on the outside looking in, it looks real ignorant for you to stay because it's like you have no chances to win. Like, I love Brad Beal. I like his game and what balling, but I cannot see why this man is still in Washington. I can't.
Man. And then the fact that they traded John, after they traded John, if I was Brad, when they traded John, like, oh, okay, I'm good for real now. Because him and John supposed to be like tight, like they supposed to be like brothers. Yep. And they traded John, and I get John was staying injured. You feel me? He went producer like that. But if I'm Brad, as soon as they trade my boy, I'm like, oh, all right, I'll holler at y'all when this year over. And then he re-signed for like 5 years. I was like, Brad, why, Brad? Brad, leave. Brad, please leave. Man, that jaw hurt me like I was on the team. Brad, it's time to go, bro. Go link up with Bron and AD something, bro. Do something. Go to Miami, play with Jimmy Butler and Bam, something, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta stop this, man. This ain't it. They not going to the finals. Then they got Russell Westbrook. They still ain't in the playoffs. Like, bro, it's time to go, Brad. It's time to go. This ain't the team, bro. This ain't it. They don't have that. They can't build nothing for you, bro. They done had you all your career. They done had John all his career. They done had John and Brad Beal since they was blue, since they had blue jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the blue and gold like Gilbert Arenas and they were playing in.
Yep.
Like, it's time to go, bro. Please, for me, Brad. Hey, Brad Beal, I know you'll probably never hear this, but for the day the BeBall Jones podcast blow up, I want somebody to dig this up. Like, Brad, please, bro. It's time. Demand a trade today. Call him. Tell your agent to call him. It's time to go, bro. Because I can't stand to watch your talent being wasted, Brad. You gonna be a Dominique Wilkins, Brad. Like, nobody talks about Dominique Wilkins anymore. Like, you gotta go, bro. It's time to go. When we name the best bucket getters of our time, we gonna leave Brad out because Brad ain't made the playoffs half his career. We're gonna be talking about Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. Like, Brad, you gotta go somewhere. At least you getting out the first round of the playoffs. Please. Before it's too late. Oh my God, boy. I'll be hurting for Brad. I feel the same way about Dame, but at least Dame making it to the playoffs. He done been to the Western Conference Finals. He done competed. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just somebody getting bounced out in the first round every year. Brad, it's time to go, Brad. Time to go. I need to see you on a bigger stage.
Yeah, I think that's another thing too, to where before now we get into a point where we want younger players to go ahead and jump the ship as early as possible. Somebody like a Devin Booker. He ain't been in the league, 5 years? Maybe. I think it's his 4th year, 5th year, something like that. We've been praying for that man to leave since he got drafted. Like, bro, go ahead and do your little rookie deal or trade this man as soon as possible. We do not want him in the Phoenix Suns uniform. They're not going anywhere. Like, this is what I think at the time. Like, we're not trying to watch this man. We don't want you here. But his loyalty got paid off. He got CP3. And that's my guy, man. So now they're number one. So it's like, that's what I think that's what players are looking for. Looking for the ownership to say, all right, we got you, D-Book. We got you, Brad Beal. We got you, Dame. We're going to get you the right pieces around you. We're going to build, find the right coach. We're going to be loyal to you and this team. So you will be loyal to us. So just trust us. We got a partnership working here. And it paid off, but it was paying off right now. I don't say long term. We don't know what's going to happen, but right now it's paying off. So I think that's what I think I won't say all players, but most players dream for when they're loyal. Like Dame's been getting told, we got your coach for you, we got Aldridge here, got shipped away. He done had plenty of bids come through. They were good. Like right now, the bids he had, they're good. They just can't stay healthy. He balling out with CJ doing his thing. They just can't get over that little hump. He got Melo doing his thing now. He wasn't in his prime, but he's still a bucket getter. Like the boy still effortlessly scoring, like in a phone booth scoring effortlessly, man. It's crazy what Melo doing. And so it's like We can play the if-then game if this player stay healthy and this would have happened, but we gotta look at what we actually have. So for players like that, man, it's tough for them to like really judge them for it. Because look at Steph Curry. First couple years in the league, he was banged up. He was a problem. No offense, but like he was a problem because he couldn't stay healthy. Early Warriors teams weren't as great. They were cool. They had Monte Ellis, and that was the leftovers of the We Believe Warriors team. So they weren't as good as they were at that time. He had a little rough pocket where they weren't doing much. Next, drafted Clay, build up a little bit. Drafted Draymond, build up a little bit more. Then they hit a point. All right, we just miss a couple more pieces. They got the main center core, signing Iguodala, having Livingston, got Barbosa. You got they drafted Festus Zealous. He got raised up a little bit. They got most space. Bogut. They made the right moves to where now I got my core that stuck with me through these rough years, and now we're gonna build around it. I think that's what all players in a situation hope for, So,
but that'd be the thing, though, bro. I think if I haven't seen evidence of that, and I'm the type of guy, I feel like if I'm your best player, you need to be sharing with me what's going on to a certain extent. I mean, I don't got to know everything, but let's be honest. You think the Lakers ain't calling Bron into the office like, Bron, we think we finna try to get Ben Malcolm, or what you think? I know you want another shooter, or shoot that with Bron. They might ask Bron like, hey, Bron, these are free agents. Who you think we got to try to go for? Type stuff. But you think the Nets ain't talking to KD and Kyrie like, hey, we think about making this move, trading Karis LeVert, stuff like that, or shoot, it ain't even got to be that level of guy. It could be somebody like what's his name? It'd be somebody like John Morant. You think Memphis ain't calling John Morant today? Office like, hey, we think about getting you another score off the ball type stuff. Like, the best player should be aware of what's going on. Shoot, like even in my college, I'm in college and my coach would tell me, hey, we trying to find you this type player to complement you a little bit better. Like, that's not an uncommon thing for GMs and coaches and players to all be sharing, and the best player, I should say, or the most important player to all be sharing what's going on or what moves are being made. So if I'm that guy, if I'm the Dame Lillard of my team, I need to see evidence of you trying to make that happen for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bron ain't have no sympathy when it came to trading Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram and all them to get AD in LA.
Yeah.
So I just think you got to be that guy. Like, hey, whatever it takes, give me another guy, give me another all-star superstar that can play, that can hoop. And I feel like they ain't got that loyalty to his guys. Like, hey, whoever with me, this who we riding with. I'm going to war with the guys in this room every day. And I respect that because I feel the same way. Like, whoever on my team, you feel me, I'm going to ride with them. Because you feel me, I got a lot of love for my teammates. But that if I also had the power to just be like, hey, go get me last year's MVP, and we might lose 2 or 3 guys. I mean, I'm sorry, I love these guys, and the competitor in me wouldn't let me do that in college. But in a pro level, yeah, man, because I got too much time. I ain't got enough time to be trying to go to war with the same guys every year, and we getting bounced out in the first round every year. And at the end of my career, all I got to show for it is some points and some bad teams, so I could just point at the list and be like, look who I had. So you going to war with the same guys every day. At the end of your career, they're gonna be the same guys you point at and be like, look who I had. I'm sure Bron had that mentality early on in the first go around in Cleveland. Like, hey man, the guys are here, Ilgauskas, Mo Williams, Eric Snow. Like, hey, we gonna do what we got in this room. Until he met up with them Spurs and they had Tony Parker, Mondu, Tim Duncan. They had a squad. Greg Popovich was coaching them, and then they messed around and got swept. I think Bron went back and was like, look, hey, this ain't enough. You feel me? So I just think you got to take that into consideration. Like, if we talking about being the best of what we do, if we talking about being the best, I think you got to take that into consideration. Like, hey, I love y'all. This is my team. I love the GM. I love the owners or whatever. I love how we run these programs, but I need to see some evidence of what's being done to make us better, to get us over that hump. I need to play in the finals before I retire. I need to smell a championship. Even if I don't win it, let me get close to touching that trophy before I leave this league. Or like I need to see evidence of that happening. Cause I want to say Dame 30 now or 29. So we got, he got about 4 more years of prime Dame. Dame time, Dame dollar. Tapping the watch. We got about 4 more years of that. Maybe 5. And so I just think you gotta think about it, Dame. I mean, I don't know how many years he got left on the deal, but I think he signed a long-term contract last I checked. And I think he got like a $200 million deal or something crazy like that. So I ain't mad at him on that part. But I need if I'm him, I gotta go to these people like, hey, I need to see evidence. What's going on? What moves we trying to make? Because I'm not sitting here just to retire and be thought of as a good player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people don't look at Chuck as the greatest. Folks barely put him in the top 5 power forwards all the time. They gonna go with the guys with the rings first. They throwing Tim first. They probably throwing KG second. Shoot, they might throw Dirk in there over Charles Barkley. Because he just gonna be a great player. That's all. It's like, hey, Chuck, you was a great player in your day. That's all they gonna say. But you ain't no champion, man. You ain't got no ring. You ain't got no jewelry. Tim got 5. KG got 1. Dirk got 1. Shoot, Carmelo ain't got none, but he number 1 in all-time scorer. Or not number 1, number 2. So it's like Chuck ain't got that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Karl Malone went to the finals twice. They just lost to Michael Jordan. I think Chuck went to the finals once.
Yeah, he lost to Jordan too, 93.
Yeah. So it's just one of them things, man. You gotta I gotta be, I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to. If I'm on that level of talent, if I'm our best player or our most important player, I'm gonna be that guy. Like, I need to see it. Because if I don't see evidence of y'all trying to make this team better and get us in a position to win championships, or at least be in a position to play for a championship, I gotta go. Ain't no way I'm gonna be Trae Young all my career. And Trae Young's still young, so I ain't saying that that's a bad thing. He's still like in his first 5 years. So I ain't saying he need to just jump ship, but I cannot be in the Trae Young position all my life. I can't be in the Bradley Beal position all my life. I can't do that. I'm not that dude. You got to show me what's going on. Who we trying to get? Who we trying to trade for?
Yeah, so my last case I kind of want to have on this would be like, so like you said, you know, if you were that player, you would want to ship players, man. It's like with Westbrook, I kind of commend him on that, you know what I mean? Because that's leadership. So you being the best player, you killing your team by saying, yo, we got to get this dude out of here, bro. Like, this ain't nothing. You know, like these dudes, like James Harden said something similar to that at one point, I think during the playoffs when he was with the Rockets. He kind of got, he didn't get killed for it, but it was just like real hoopers know, like, bro, you can't do that, man. Like, you can't be the best player shooting down your teammates, man. What you gonna do now? Like this one, it was just him holding it down. I think Chris Paul was hurt at that point, or before he got Chris Paul, something like that. Was mainly him, and so it's like, as a leader, you can't do that, man. You can't just call out your boys and be like, I'm doing all I can, man. Y'all suck. So y'all need to either step your game up or give me some better players in here. Like, and that's going to hurt the team, you know. So then you get to known as LeBron, that's going to be like, without being LeBron type player that's known to shift the team as soon as I get there, unless you're him, which is only one of him. I mean, like, it's only a handful of players that can have that type of wave where wherever team I go to, I'm making an impact automatically. Like, you going from lottery team to playoff team at least off of my strength. There's only a handful of players that can really do that. And that's who I consider superstars. There's only a handful of those guys in the league. And so that you having that level of credibility, like, yeah, you might be a Trae Young and you can make a nice impact, but you're not a superstar level yet. You're not that player yet. So if Trae Young pulls something like that, it's like, yo, you getting killed. Like you said, he ain't even 5 years into the league yet. You know what I mean? So as a leader, I don't think you can do that, man. But overall, you can say ownership comes to you, GM comes to you, and they say, yo, what you think about doing X, Y, and Z? Yeah, man, we need to do these moves because this position here is a little lacking. We're not doing this thing here. Like, we're getting out rebounded, so we get some rebounders in here. We're getting killed in this position because nobody can defend. We got straight scores, so let's get a couple defenders in. Something like that is more respectable. So,
Yeah, I ain't saying you got demand to trade guys, but like I need to see what you're trying to do to make us better. Who we trying to sign? Who we think about going after? Something. I need to see improvement being planned. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah.
can't just be stagnant because I think that happens sometimes too. Like we got, I think guys trade. I'm not trade, but draft guys like a Damian Lillard. And Dame comes in and kind of turns the program around, and they look at Dame like, okay, you're gonna be our focal point. We building around you from now on. I think they do that, and then they get to a point where I think some programs are satisfied making the playoffs. Let me say that. And it ain't the players, it's the program. So like Cleveland, people talk about Cleveland with LeBron the first go around, not getting Bron no help. But I think they were satisfied doing what they were doing. Like, oh, we got Bron, we got Ilgauskas, we got a solid core, you know what I'm saying? We making the playoffs. And they went to the finals. They're like, oh, good, you feel me? We this is more than they've ever done. You know what I'm saying? Cleveland ain't never won no championship, so they got to the finals with LeBron, and they thinking they doing something. You know what I'm saying? But Bron got to myself, I need to win. I'm trying to chase Michael Jordan. Like I got the potential to be better than Mike, and I'm playing for a team that's satisfied just making the playoffs, going deep. And I just think we can't. Don't be that. Like if I'm that guy, I'm not playing for that team. And sometimes I feel like that's what Portland is. They just satisfied being what they are. They're not trying to win no ring like that. If they win a ring, great, obviously, but I think Dame want the ring more than Portland wants the ring. You know what I'm saying? I think Kobe at one point Kobe wanted the ring more than the Lakers. He threatened to leave. Now the Lakers are like, oh, we gotta get Kobe somebody. The Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics, those are the teams that have consistent greatness want to win championships. They have championship aspirations every year. They got teams that are like, if we don't make it to the finals, this is a bad season. And there's teams like Orlando that's like, hey, we made it to the playoffs. This is a good year. So I can't play for them teams. But go ahead.
I can't fully agree with that, man. I think that sometimes it's just the cards you're dealt, sometimes. So you can't, if you're not that type of GM some GMs are more conservative, some teams some GMs are ready to gamble anything and everything. And so like with the LeBron situation, sometimes you don't have the right GM in place that understands what LeBron needs and how to get there. So you think you have a team ready in place, but I just can't. I haven't constructed the right team. I'm trying to win a championship. I don't know how to do it yet. And you have some people. Like at the end of the day, the NBA is a business, So that's why you see teams and players doing things like that. So it's a business, right? And so as an owner, you're looking at your business to see what can generate the most revenue. I had to say it like this, but you're looking to see what generates the most revenue. What hands down generates the most revenue in this entertainment field is winning. So some owners are like, yo, I don't care what the price is. I don't care what we have to do, who we need to get in here. I'll write the check, sign who we need to sign so we can win. I don't know enough about basketball to sign whoever, so I'm putting it in your hands to do that. Somebody like a Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, he might not know X to O's. So I'm gonna write, what GM do I need? Cool, I'm gonna look at you, boom, sign you. What president do I need? All right, come on, Doc Rivers, you're my president, my coach. I need a GM, all right, cool. I'm putting it in your hands. So sometimes I'm doing whatever I can as the owner and the GM to put the people in place, but I don't have the right people under me, which is also going back to my fault. But I'm doing everything I can. Right. Dan Gilbert probably just didn't know who to hire as his GM to say, yo, get LeBron the right people around so we can win. It's not like an effort, it's just like an information and knowledge. So I'm trying to do everything I can so we can win, but I'm just not putting the right pieces in place. LeBron's getting frustrated because certain things are happening, I'm not saying every situation like that. Some organizations are content with, yo, we almost made the playoffs. I'm cool with that. Yo, we did make the playoffs. I'm cool with that. Oh, we made it to the finals. That's good enough to keep this player in. But players are thinking, yo, I got to win. I'm Kevin Durant. I'm LeBron James. I got to win the ring. So my time's ticking like, yo, what do I do? So I think some organizations are content with that, but I don't think everyone is content with that. And then I think you get a player like, my last point that I want to bring up is like, you get somebody like a Derrick Rose when he was dealing with his injuries with the Bulls. He came out and he was like, he went ghost for like a week maybe, for the playoffs. And it was like, yo, like Derrick Rose has been, cleared to play. Ownership said he's good to come back. So
I remember that.
what's going on? He's like, yo, I done had too many knee injuries right now for me to feel safe and come back right now. He was like, he came out and he was like, I care more, not care more about, but I really care about the end of my career when I retire, being able to play with my son and be able to bend him over and pick him up without having this extreme pain in my body or not being able to do it at all. He got killed for that. And I think more players, as the game becomes a bigger brand and the players become a bigger brand, thinking long term. And so that long term mindset has shifted players' mindset to thinking more about money rather than sacrificing my full body to win, like they did in the 80s and 90s. You have players thinking about, like Carmelo, I'd rather have this financial security, or like D Rose, financial security and physical security by saying I'm getting this bag so I can take care of myself because I'm not going to sit here and break my body down for a team that's not going to win, and I'm not getting taken care of financially. And so I think players come back to that where money versus winning isn't such a black and white thing like people try to make it seem. All you gotta do is give up, $20 million. $20 million is a lot of money. Or just give up $50 million. You can play with these two players. You give up $50 million and tell me what you want to do.
No, for real.
Average person isn't sitting here like really thinking about $50 million or $20 million. If I gave you $20 million, you would lose your brain trying to think of how much stuff you can spend it on.
Right.
And so it's like people and fans trying to make it seem like it's such an easy thing for you to do with your sacrifice that much money when you've never came close to that amount of money in your life. And then, like we talked about earlier, players are focused on the rings and everything, but I think a lot of players get to a point where it's like it'll go one or two ways when they hit this fork in the road. It's like, all right, do I want to care more about the money and care less about the money and more about the rings and the status of being a champion, or do I care more about my personal legacy and the stats and everything I can put up? A lot of players at that crossroad where it's a tough road to decide because, like you said, Charles Barkley is going to be knocked off a few points behind certain players because he didn't win the ring. But a lot of players didn't win an MVP like he did. A lot of players weren't part of the greatest team ever assembled with the Dream Team. A lot of players didn't go toe-to-toe with Jordan and almost win. He had certain stuff that he can brag about, but like Karl Malone will always have a slight edge over him because he's the second leading scorer all the time. He did get to the finals more than once. Karl Malone has 2 MVPs, I believe. So it's like there are certain things that player to player, if you're actually comparing player to player, now you have a real conversation because you're going to take this person who has no rings over this player who has rings. Like Robert Horry isn't a better player than KG, same position, but 2 completely different players. Robert Horry has 7 rings, KG has 1. Right. So that's where the ring debate, that's why I'm not a big fan of debates too, because there is no parameters in which we're concretely talking about. There's no structure behind this where, well, who would you rather have, Jordan or Kobe? Well, I'm taking Jordan because he averaged more points and he has more rings. Well, Kareem has the same amount of rings. Well, no, man, I'm taking Jordan because of this. Okay, so the ring debate is over because they have the same amount of rings. Or what about Bill Russell? He has 11 of them rings. Robert Horry has 7. Well, nah, man, let's go to points. And Kobe put up 81 points. Well, no, I'm talking about stats too. Okay, LeBron has more stats. So the debate is.
There's no one thing we can point to.
There's no one thing we ever. So you want to talk about specific things? Let's go there. But the debate becomes a scattered in an endless circle because you want to talk about stats. You can go LeBron. You can go Wilt. You can go Oscar Robertson, and now Westbrook. Because stats wise, they're putting up stupid stuff. You want to go rings? You can go Jordan, Kareem, Bill Russell, all the old Celtics players. You want to go player like actually skill what they can do? That's a whole different debate. And so players probably play that out all the time to where player for player, Chuck versus Karl Malone is a great argument to have. KG versus Dirk versus Tim Duncan is a great debate to have. But I'm taking him because he has the rings. That doesn't mean he's a better player. He just had a better organization that was better built to build around him. And that's why you see players at the end of their career, like Charles Barkley. He went to the Rockets at the end of his career. Scottie Pippen went to the Blazers at the end of his career. He went to the Rockets too at one point. That's why you
Karl
saw
Malone and
KG.
Gary Payton going to the Lakers.
Exactly. And you saw KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen team at the end of their career, at the end of their prime to play together. They knew I had to win the ring. So you see stuff like that happening, and some players care more about the rings rather than the stats. Like I done did all the stats I can get. Like I'm done with that. I want to win. I want to win now. Like Melo, he's 10th all time, top 10 all time scoring right now. The man wants to win the ring now. So maybe early in his career he got hurt by taking that bag, but players at that crossroad different points. So I think that's the last thing that players come across. Do I want the ring, and do I want to have that level of status, or do I want to be player for player? I'm better than you. Whether you want to go stats, whether you want to go like Kyrie, arguably the most skilled player of all time. You can throw Kobe in that discussion. You can throw a lot of different people in that. Akeem can be in that discussion. And so, player for player, I'm better than you. But now let's look at stats. I got knocked off a couple points because I sacrificed to win or try to win with this team. Or I sacrificed this because I want to ring with this team. Okay, I want to ring now, but my stats are less because I sacrificed to play with that. So I think it's like a catch-22 for a lot of players. And a lot of them say, I want to win a ring. So I'll take that hate for being Kevin Durant and being a snake to go over with this team because I got these rings now. Or I'll be an Allen Iverson and do everything I can. I know pound for pound being the best player in my position or one of the best players of all time. Or I can be a Westbrook where I'm trying to win, I want to win, but I'm just dominant at putting up stats. So it's like, yeah, he might not be as good as a player as such and such, but stat-wise, you can't be my discussion of anything at this point. So I think that's the juggle that a lot of players have to do at a certain point. Do I want to be the player that wins the rings or the player that individually always wins a lot? So I can't fault players for whatever side they choose, but I think that's the thing that we have to remember too. So that's my last bit on that, man. So you can say what you guys say.
My last thing on it is like the guys that listen to my rant on Russell Westbrook, at a certain point, your career goes from being if you're a star in the league or a superstar at least, somebody that could be the best player on the team. Let's say that. If you're somebody who could be your team's best player, excuse me. If you're somebody who could be your team's best player, at a certain point, your career goes from being about numbers and stats to about winning and production. And so I feel that's why I ridicule Russell Westbrook. It's like Russell obviously has some of the best stat lines ever of all time. Like 2020 game, the triple doubles, the being a guard his size, getting the rebounds that he's getting, stuff like that. I feel like, those are amazing numbers, obviously. But at a certain point, your career goes from being about the numbers to being about what you produce and how did you contribute to winning. And like I mentioned then, Russ hasn't been out the first round since KD split. He ain't been out the first round, even when he went to Houston. And, a lot of that had to do with who they played, a lot of that had to do with, injuries, whatever. I don't care what you got to say about it. At the end of the day, when Kevin Durant left, he has not been out the first round. So it's showing us that at a certain point, your numbers won't matter. It's gonna be about winning, and he hasn't produced like that. And so, a lot of guys get in that realm of, all right, he's got the numbers, but what does that contribute to winning? Dame is in that realm right now. Like, okay, we know about Dame time, one of the clutchest players, but what does that have to do with winning? He ain't up into the finals. Carmelo, top 10 all scoring, top 10 all time scoring. He was up there with Bron at one point, competing with Bron, head up, stuff like that. Ain't never been to the finals, so it ain't about that no more. He's just a great player. There's guys like that all over the league. DeMar DeRozan, you can say that about Giannis getting into that point of, okay, it's about winning now. And like the time for your stats and stuff to be great and not mean nothing is your first few years in the league when you're supposed to be young. Nobody cares if Zion wins right now. They don't have to make the playoffs. But he's putting up great numbers because it ain't about that for him right now. It ain't about that for Luka right now. It will be soon, but it ain't about that for Luka right now. It ain't about that for Trae Young right now. It ain't about that for John Morant, De'Aaron Fox. It's a lot of young guys that we don't expect them to win right now. But eventually, those numbers need to turn into production and winning. And so I feel like if you at a team where you trying to win and they not, you can leave. You got every right to leave. And I also feel like if you stay and you still do what you do and you're not winning, don't be surprised that at the end of your career we don't put you in those big name conversations. And if that ain't important to you, that's cool. Obviously, that's if that ain't important to you, that's whatever. But as the basketball fans and purists and analysts of the world look at your career and the totality of it, if you ain't produced a whole lot, then what can we say? Like, what awards do Dame have besides Rookie of the Year?
Yeah,
You
Dame
don't have
been
none.
killed for that, bro. I remember seeing this picture when they show Dame after his first year in the league. It was like one Rookie of the Year. It showed 0 MVPs, 0 this, 0 that, 0 that, 0 finals appearance, like stuff like that. Dame this year, one Rookie of the Year, no MVPs. And I was like, I saw this, and I was like,
It
tough.
hasn't produced. You know what I'm saying? The numbers haven't produced much past that. He's been to some All-Star. He's been to several All-Star games, all that. And we know the people who watch Dame play, we know how great Dame is. But when it's over with, we look at his whole career, it won't amount to much because he just hasn't produced to winning. It hasn't produced winning. And so I just feel like if your legacy is important to you, I don't think Jeff Green looks at legacy. I don't think he thinks about his legacy. I don't think Chris Middleton looks at his legacy. I don't think um Kyle Lowry really looks at legacy. Like guys that aren't in that upper echelon of top tier player of all time, when it comes to all time players, I don't think they think about their legacy. I think they think about, their career, what they accomplished, obviously. But legacy and your own individual accomplishments are two different things. Like my individual accomplishments are good to me. They ain't everything I wanted it to be, but I don't have a legacy yet until I win me a ring or an MVP or something like that. MVPs and rings and championships, rookies of the year, defensive players of the year, those make up your legacy. And guys that have never won those things, they don't think about legacy like that. So if you want a legacy rather than just individual accomplishment, you know what I'm saying? Your individual accomplishment, you got to produce winning. So if your legacy ain't important to you, that's fine. There ain't no judgment from me on that. If you just want to make your bag, you just want to hoop, you just want to, you feel me, provide for your family, that's great. That's wonderful. I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be known for something great in the game of basketball to have a legacy, sometimes you got to be that bad guy to be like, hey, all right, pull the trigger, trade these guys, give me a guy like AD, give me a guy like Kevin Durant, trade and give me a guy like Giannis. It's like sometimes you might have to be in that position. Guys ain't just signing with Portland. Guys ain't just signing with Cleveland. Guys ain't just signing with Milwaukee. So that's my last thing. If you want legacy, if your legacy is important to you, sometimes you got to be that guy. Like you got to let go of some people. Like, hey, you my boy. Hey, one love, but they talking about getting AD over here. And then we see what that produces with guys like Bron and KD and the rings. Like we don't even bring that up. No one at the end of LeBron's career, we're not gonna say, well, he don't have this amount of rings if he didn't trade half his team for Anthony Davis. It don't matter no more. That does not matter. Unless the Pelicans wants to just take off and win the championship next year, nobody would care that he traded those people for Anthony Davis. So I just think that's the main thing. Like if you want that legacy, you ought to take that with you. So that's all it is, man. So that's my last few cents on it, man. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'll say I think that we kind of got to a day and age where winning stopped being the most important thing.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like I think like what you're saying with that legacy and stuff, I think that stats do play a big role with that because you look at a player like Alex English. At the time he was balling, he put up numbers like stupid. Like he was averaging crazy numbers. I guarantee 80% of the people that listen to basketball, watch basketball from our generation and down, have no clue who Alice English is. I can guarantee about 80%. Ball in his 80s. Put up numbers with the Nuggets, but nobody knows who he is because he never won. And I think that over time, and when you win a ring, that puts your legacy in a whole different stratosphere. Just because when you tell a story of basketball, you have to put my name in there because I won a ring. Like you cannot remove that ring from me and what I've done. So you look at every year, we define years by who won the championship. Who won? Tell me about 1992. 1992, that's the year the Bulls won. Jordan is there in third. You don't remember who the leading scorer was in 92. It probably was Jordan, but you don't remember stuff like that. You don't remember who the defensive player of the year was. I mean, you might, okay, who's the leading scorer in
If you're a
2002?
student of the game.
Yeah, like who's the leading scorer in 2002? Maybe Allen Iverson, maybe Shaq. You know what I mean? It's a thought. Who won the championship in 2002? Lakers. Who won in 03? Spurs, I think. 04 Pistons, 05 Spurs, 06 Heat. Oh, you know what I mean? I can route us off easy because I know championships. Winning cures all. And so, like I was saying before, a lot of players hit that fork in the road, which I don't fault you for, whichever side you want to go to. But you can't fault us as fans and pioneers, within the hoop community when we cut you out certain discussions. Unless you're going to be like an Allen Iverson type person to where you leave such an impact that, like, he ain't win a ring, but like that dude gave his heart and soul. Like he gave his heart and soul to the NBA. He left such an impact, and like you said, he's a problem, man. Like you couldn't stop that dude, man. With him being my height, basically, and doing what he did, oh, you got all the respect, man. So there's only a handful of players that can do that, man. So I think at the end of the day, you have to do what it takes to win. And so with that being said, man, I think that going back to the main discussion, it's respectable for players to do what's best for them. And if being loyal to them feels like the best decision they need to make, then by all means go. I mean, like I said, it's case by case thing. Like you said, no real top tier player is saying, man, I can't wait to try to play in Portland. I can't wait to play in Milwaukee, man. That's my favorite city, man. I can't wait to play in. Oh, Utah, I'm not love playing in Utah. That doesn't happen. Miami, Los Angeles, San Fran, New York, maybe Chicago, just because of the legacy there. But as far as location, Atlanta, Miami, Orlando, LA, all the Cali teams probably. Houston, maybe San Antonio. Like you have a select few cities that have that geological and location advantage that makes them more appealing. Like we talked about earlier with the LeBron, D-Wade, Melo Bosh situation. They don't want to go to Cleveland and play. They want to go to Miami. That's a more enticing place. And so at the end of the day, man, players have to realize, or not players, but fans have to realize that, and younger players need to realize that winning is the number one thing. So you have to sacrifice whatever it takes. Whether that means I score less points, whether I'm not quote unquote the man, if I'm not, looked at as a better player than this player. Like I said before, Charles Barkley would not be known as a better player than Tim Duncan because he won. He produced. He did the thing that we all put the game to do was to win. He won at the highest level. KG probably take a spot over him. Dirk will probably take a spot over him just because they won. But player for player, what they can actually do for you on the court, different discussion. So I think when we get back to the discussion of legacy and everything, winning cures all. So yeah, he might not have been top 10 scoring, might have been, top 30, but he won the ring. And so like you said, when you're a top tier superstar player, maybe even an all-star player, that discussion changes because winning cures all. And so remember I had this debate on Twitter with a coach of mine, not my coach, but a coach that I know. And he was talking about how, basically what we're talking about now, how numbers versus winning is kind of done. And he brought up CP3. I think I brought up CP3 and how he's a winner in my book, even though he hasn't won on that level. because what he does impacts the game on that level to where he changes cultures wherever he goes. He's going to put enough impact. He's in that Allen Iverson state talk for me, to where I'm putting so much impact to where I might not have a ring, but I'm changing wherever I go. And so I think players have to focus on being more of that type of player, more of a player that focus on impact and winning rather than just stats and numbers. So that's my last little bit, man. Unless you got something else you want to say.
I'm good, bro. This is a good discussion here. I like this one.
Yeah, man. I like it. So, but like we keep saying, man, we don't want the discussion to end with this podcast. We want to know what the listeners have to say, man. So let's get your take on if you think it is more respectable or ignorant for players to be loyal to their teams, man. So I think it's like to kind of sum it up, man, it's a case by case thing, you know. So it depends on what your organization has and what you've been going through. Your situation as far as being a superstar player versus an all-star versus a role player, and what you ultimately want your legacy to be, man. So I can't pick a side, man. You know, like I said, it's case by case thing. So I think overall, if the player cares most about winning, whether you think your situation is a good situation to win at, whether you think that leaving is the best thing for you, then I can't be mad at that. So that's how I stand on it, man. So let us know where you guys stand with it. How do you feel about Dame? How you feel about Brad Beal? You know, players like Reggie Miller, Kobe, Dirk, Tim Duncan. I stayed with the organization for almost 20 years or about 20 years. And most of them won, some of them didn't win. John Stockton. Other players like LeBron and KD who, you know, go to the best possible situation regardless of where it is to try to win. So let us know what y'all think. Joining in those discussions with my boy Nelson on Facebook, Nelson Haskin. Join in on Twitter at NellyH34. Follow me, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at BeBall Jones, BeBall Jones. And that's it for episode 12. Let us know what you think about the cost of loyalty, man. So appreciate you tuning in. That's a wrap.